We're not that far from the cabin, maybe 200 feet higher than it. We're already taking a break. It's about to get real.
There are people in this world that go looking for adventure. And then there are those that live it every day. Alaska Outdoors Television. Experience Alaska like never before.
Let's go out tonight.
You know, I had a chance to go out and hunt winter goats with Luke. Right. Well, you know, that winter goat hunt is pretty intriguing because, you know, during the summertime or I guess the fall, when you're typically hunting these goats, you're trying to play with weather to make sure that you don't get snowed on during these hunts. And going right dab smack in the middle of the winter makes it pretty doggone challenging. But it sounds like Luke had a great trip. It was a successful trip. Nice time. His hunting partner there, Jerome's got, I believe, 8 or 9 sheep under his belt. You know, being a sheep hunter yourself, that's something that you can't fake. I mean, if you're there to shoot a sheep, whether you're guided or not even, you still got to climb that mountain. It's not an easy hunt, and neither is a goat hunt. I really enjoy goat hunting. I've had some fantastic trips down to Kodiak for goats, and you know, it's very similar to sheep in many ways, and yet is different in a few ways as well, which just makes it a really good time. Yeah.
Just started hiking, I don't know, maybe a half mile into the hike, and the hatch must have just happened because the bugs weren't bad up until about yesterday. Now, I don't know if you can pick them all up, but that little orange bottle right there, I can tell is going to be a godsend for the rest of the trip. Pretty much lathered up in it now, so I'll probably have a third ear or something by the time I'm done with this, but at least I won't have too many bug bites.
Meet Luke Moffett.
12:30 in the AM, 12:45, something like that. Got 11 miles back in here, came up about 2,000 feet, saw quite a few caribou.
Unless you spend most of your life hunting and exploring Alaska's wilderness, you might never meet Luke. But should your paths cross, one thing is for certain, you'll never forget him.
Definitely tell he is not liking us here right now. He wants to throw down Luke.
A third-generation Alaskan, Luke's passion for the Alaskan wildlife runs deep. Raised with subsistence roots, he's no stranger when it comes to Alaska's backcountry.
Make it up to our camping spot in another 2 hours, which is somewhere up there. We'll be doing good. How you doing, Dad?
Good. If that's the case, we'll be up there at 3:30.
Saw goats in the parking lot, so
Motivation.
yeah, we got our motivation for getting up here at least.
I've been hunting my whole life. Been pretty much born and raised in Alaska, and so I grew up mostly in the interior and in the Mat-Su Valley as well.
And if Luke's not somewhere hunting fresh wild game, rest assured, he's thinking about it. Boots to the ground, he logs a couple of months every year in pursuit of Alaska's big game.
So it's actually trying to snow out there now. I don't know if you can see it or not, but what you get at 4,000 feet on June 25th.
He's been doing this since he was old enough to walk. They were taking him on trips where they were, you know, getting moose or getting caribou to feed the family. So it's something that he has done his entire life. It's kind of second nature to him. It's something I've had to learn to do in the last, 7 or 8 years.
Here's Becca coming across the creek. Trekking poles make this a little less sketchy. This is obviously not her first rodeo doing this.
From late April to end of November, the last several years, we've been going on one trip after another when we weren't working. We've been to Kodiak twice and lots of trips around in the interior, hunting Dall sheep, caribou, moose, grizzly bear, and black bears down in Prince William Sound.
So here we are. We made it down the steep hill down to my sheep, and he's beautiful.
Yeah, Luke, you know, I'd heard rumors about Luke. I'd heard about, you know, what he was like, and you know, spending a week out there with him. You know, he's younger. He lives for this kind of stuff. The kid is an animal, and she's almost as much of a beast as Luke is.
It's like Becca working her way down. Last night we spent the night on kind of the side of the hill, shimmed up by our packs to keep the sleeping place level.
It doesn't really matter what kind of shape I get in. I'm never going to go as fast as he does and push as hard. But that being said, I spend a lot of time trying to catch up to him.
Gonna end up going down there, top off on water, then head up top of there. That pointy peak you see there is, I think, 5,900 feet. We're gonna try to side hill around that.
He's definitely a go, go, go kind of guy. So in the field, that is really just amplified. And I mean, he would go 18 hours a day, you know, 30 miles a day, hike, packing a heavy load.
We try to take a lot of at least photo documentation and some video, just for nothing else. It's nice in the middle of winter when it's dark and cold outside to kind of relive the memories.
It's definitely one of the more impressive beaver dams I've ever seen.
And especially in the future when we might not be able to be so agile in the mountains and everything, it'd be nice to be able to show people what we had done if they're interested, and for sure for us to be able to go back and reflect on what we've done too.
We're camped about 5,800 feet. I think we landed about 2,800 feet, so we're up 3,000 feet, and I think 7 or 8 miles back in, something like that.
Always up for a challenge, Luke is not one to shy away from a great adventure, especially hunting. Right now.
Got 7 miles to go. Right now we're walking on a creek bed.
As we speak. However, for Luke and good friend Jerome, chasing Kodiak mountain goats in the winter will be the first.
Next thing was to book the cabin for something to base out of, because it's, again, winter time. Storms rolling off the Gulf of Alaska. It can get pretty nasty pretty quick, so it'd be nice to be able to come off the mountain and have a hard-sided shelter to come into. And then after that, it was calling the air taxi to get us flown out here. That was pretty much the extent of the logistics of setting this up.
Heavy. It's only 50 pounds.
First day we landed here, and as soon as we landed the plane, we saw some goats up on the hill, so that was encouraging.
I see 2 of them. Or 3 of them. There's one to the right of those 2.
We can't go hunt them, obviously, the first day with the flying in, so we unpacked our gear and watched the goats in the spot and scope and kind of tracked them and made a game plan for the morning. I usually hunt sheep in August, September, when the season's open. That's handy. And usually hunt goats in October, November, and this is the first time doing it in March, so it's generally colder for them, by and large, for the goat hunts as well. I was in on a mountain goat hunt in August with my father back in 2009, and saw how sheer the hides were, and really the trophy for a goat, more so than the horns to me, is the hide. So I try to go October or later, just about anytime I can. So the opportunity to hunt them after they've pretty much put on as much hair as they possibly can in March is a pretty neat opportunity, and definitely want to take advantage of that.
What do you got there, the cabin log?
Yeah. 5 days, not a single deer.
What was it? What was
One bear, December 2nd and through the 10th. Lots of goats.
So is it?
Yep.
Sweet. Come to the right place. I'm trying to figure out how the heck you put a flame in there.
I don't know. It's like someone's burned something, shoved it down in there.
Oh, come on. You can do it. You can smell it burning fuel. Oh yeah, there's definitely fuel down there.
Operation Heater complete and pack sorted through. Their next step, find goats. But the question is, where? And what is the best route to take?
Well, we see a total of 11 goats up there and at least a few shooters, so that's positive, but they're going the wrong way away from camp. So I don't know, we can't do anything about it today anyway, so it's kind of a moot point, but it'd be nice if they trucked it back right behind the cabin. Everyone that wrote a log in the cabin says don't go straight up behind the hill, but I think we might do that anyway. It just doesn't look that bad. I don't know. We're missing something.
We'll find out tomorrow.
We'll find out tomorrow, exactly. So this is a Browning A-bolt titanium version. It's basically, the action is titanium. It's chambered in 325 Winchester short mag. It was already light rifle to come to start with. I believe from the factory they were 5 pounds 10 ounces, which in a short Winchester short mag like that is pretty light. What I further did to make it more useful for me is the barrel originally comes in at 23 inches, so it's stuck out about there, 5 inches longer. I cut it down to 18, and then I had it magna ported, as you can see right there, to reduce recoil, because 5.5 pound rifle with shooting, 200 grain partitions at 2,900 feet per second, it'll thump you, so that helps a little bit, but it is a noisy guy with being such a short barrel, but it sure is nice for carrying through the brush when it's strapped to my pack. It's no taller than my pack is, so especially for places like Kodiak, known for being extremely brushy, it's kind of nice, and I don't really miss having the extra barrel sticking up there in the air for sure. 200 grain nozzler partitions, hand loaded by yours truly, so if I miss it, I only have myself to blame all the way around. There we go. Just load up the mag, leave the chamber empty, good to go.
About a half mile into their hike, they run into their first snag, literally. Hiking through the alder, Jerome has managed to lodge a large branch between his rifle and his pack.
It's stuck there. Here, hold on. Turn to the side and I can grab it. There we go. Come on. Hold on. Success. So we're not that far from the cabin, maybe 200 feet higher than it. We're already taking a break, but it's about to get real going up the hill. It took us about 3 hours to get up to the 1,500 foot level. We had about, Jerome and I think had about 60 to 70 pounds on our back, and we were just going slow, enjoying the sunny days too, so we wanted to pick someone to come down with me that knew their way around the mountains, and I heard about Jerome and the fact that he's kind of a mountain ninja in the fact that he's a sheep slayer, so figured a guy that can get 9 rams before he's 30 years old is probably a guy I want to take on a winter mountain goat hunt, since his never really done it before and try to stack the odds in our favor with someone with experience.
Fortunate enough to legal my 9th ram this last fall, and favorite thing every year is all I think about from August 10th till the day at the end of the hunt is planning the next sheep hunt. Something I really enjoy doing. Mountain goats comes close second. Goat hunting is way more extreme. They live in the nasty. Sheep only go there when you pressure them into it, maybe bed in it once in a while, but goats seem to always be in it. You have to use physical extremes to get to the top, but goats are in a more remote, rugged area that you have to take time and patience to let them come out of it, pick a spot to where you could shoot it. Usually a sheep, you could, by clockwork, get them on nice grass, open fields when they're feeding. Goats tend to never leave the inaccessible crags, and when they do, you can't always shoot them because of recovery.
We're not as far up the mountain as I thought we'd be, but what, 3 hours of climbing? 3 hours. And we got 100 yards before. Sounds easy, but pretty much straight up the hill. We should be flat.
There are several challenging aspects to winter goat hunting. Besides the obvious vertical climb up the mountain, spotting the goat and watching their movements becomes extremely difficult from such low angle. However, on the upside, it also makes it harder for the goats to see you approaching.
I mean, if they fell down in the creek below that, the creek mellows out considerably below the death hole as you're looking down it, you know.
Once you fell in that death hole, you'd never get.
No, never retrieve. It goes halfway to China.
Didn't see any goats after we got to the bottom of the hill, so we were just hiking in the blind, hoping we'd end up seeing them once we got up there. And sure enough, right about once we got to the level we were planning on setting up spike camp, we saw about a dozen goats 600 yards or so away. In my experience, they're usually like a 400-yard buffer zone between you and them before they start getting too squirrely, but apparently these ones have been pushed around or something, because anytime they saw us inside 800 yards, they'd want to take off. So that was the first time we got close to them. So they started taking off, but there was Lone Billy in the group that kind of stayed behind, and he came in a little lower, actually within 250 yards inside of that. And he was coming in and just lower than the rest of the goats were by quite a bit, and Jerome had spotted him just the top of his back poking through the top of the ridgeline, and then he ended up coming all the way over the ridgeline to present a shot.
Luke set up for a shot and made a wonderful one-shot kill, and goat tumbled down to right where we're setting up tent, so made it kind of easy. Not much packing to spike camp.
He's a 3-year-old Billy, not the biggest of the bunch, but, well, of this bunch he is, but he'll do just fine. His winter coats are unreal. Some serious hair on these things. March 1st and be able to go goat hunting is pretty much amazing with this winter hide. The motto I was telling my friends is winter goats is where the fur is longer than the horns, and that's certainly the case here, so we're pretty excited about it. So that's going to be quite the trophy in itself, so I'm pretty excited, and fill the freezer while we're at it, so it should be good.
1,500 feet and not a cloud in the sky. The guys know the afternoon sun will drop quickly. and so will the temperatures. It's a race against the clock, field dressing the mountain goat, setting up camp, and enjoying a little fresh backstrap before nightfall.
I was anticipating a lot of snow. I was kind of curious of bringing snowshoes. Watching the weather cam, it looked like the snow wasn't too bad just up on the top, so opted leaving those at home. And pretty much thought it was going to be snowing, raining, typical wind-blowing Kodiak.
I bought a 4-season tent just for this hunt alone. I knew I wanted a serious tent to handle the winds and everything Kodiak is capable of throwing at you. So, and certainly cold. So I doubled up on pretty much everything as far as clothing because I didn't want to have to turn around because I was cold if that was one of the issues. So.
No, it looks so good. One of it's done.
Look, did you try cutting one open?
It's got to be done. Oh, sweet. Still brown like beef. A little different than freeze-dried.
I'll take it to freeze-dried. Not a bad way to spend an evening. Fresh wild game, good conversation.
It was only killed about 3 hours ago though, so.
We'll have to do the other one tomorrow night. It's less meat we have to tack off the mountain.
And the mountains of Alaska at your back.